How do I describe myself back then? Hungry. I was hungry to not just play in the NHL, because there's a big difference between playing in the NHL and having a career in the NHL, and there's a big difference between having a career in the NHL and having some growth and success over a long period of time. So I would say, if I describe myself as a 22, 23-year-old kid chasing a dream, I was just very hungry. I was a student of the game. Like I just, every game I came home or hotels, if I was on the road, I would watch my shifts before I went to sleep, and when you're talking in the days where you had DVDs, right? So I knew when I walked out of the rink, I had it, and I had my DVD player with me on the road all the time, or at home, I put it on my bedroom TV. Wife would be sleeping, and I'd be watching my shift on mute. And so I just think I constantly was looking for an edge. I was really good at getting better. I wasn't necessarily the fastest, the strongest, the best hands, the best shot. I was pretty good at those things, but what I was elite at is at getting better. And that wasn't just physically. I think it was just mentally, how to read the game. I played with some great centermen in Tampa, Brad Richards, Vinny LeCavalier, Steven Stamkos. They're all at different games. There was different. I was successful with all three, but it was different hockey. It wasn't the same. Like with Richie, it was a lot of chess. It was like moving stuff around to set up that one move.
Big one way, went the other. Out front, shot, blocked in front of the net. Another shot's goal. It's gonna be Brad Richards.
With Vinny, it was checker. It was give and go, quick. And with Stammer, it was probably a combination of both, because it was the first time I had a righty.
Here comes Stamkos. Steven Stamkos into the Penguin zone. Left it for St. Louis. Cross ice. Gallory with a shot. They score on the rebound. Stamkos went right to the net.
I played the off wing, so I never liked playing with having three lefties up front, because I always felt we would only be dangerous from one side of the ice, because if we're on the right side, we had no one-timers. If somebody was in the slot, he was in the one-timer position on the right side. On the left side, we were fine. But rolling out of the corner on the left side on your backhand, hitting the hole, it's not as easy as rolling out on your forehand. So with Stammer, it was great having him as a righty, because we'd be dangerous from both sides. But the guys that, honestly, I've had success with other guys. But for me, the reason why we're able to be successful, it was constantly communicating. Coming off the ice or watching video together and really trying to get in each other's brain. I need to know what he's thinking on certain plays, and it's not about agreeing on things, and understanding how he's processing it. Because if I can understand what he's thinking, I can predict where he's probably going to be and how he's going to act. And if I can predict, I can probably make the best play. And there's a big difference between making a play and making the best play. And sometimes the best play takes you got to let it evolve. That's a little bit of chess, right? You got to let it evolve to finding the best play. A couple things have to move before you get to the best play.
Salo waiting for the play to develop. Snaps it along the boards for St. Louis. Cross rink with the entry into the zone. St. Louis on the back pedal. Palat, muscled by Orlov. St. Louis for Johnson, swing and a miss. Then the follow-up. Palat jams it in.
And that plays all because of Marty St. Louis. So good with the puck.
But to me, chemistry is about understanding each other's game and playing in the future. Is baiting guys in, knowing what's going to happen, where he's going to go. And then as soon as it's there, it's already processed and it happens. It's not like, where is he? Where is he? Because if you play that's playing in the present. And when you play in the present, you're behind. You got to play in the future. And the best players do that. But best players understand. They collect so much information. They know where everybody is. They know at what pace they're going at. They know if they're fresh, tired. They know if they're righty, lefty. of their teams, but they also know where everybody on the other team is most likely to be at that time with how much pace too. So there's so much calculation that the best players do in process that they're able to execute not just a play, but the best play.
Starting away at center. He's got Stamkos in the slot. It comes back to Lee. Lee with a pass in front. They score!
To me, routes are important in the sense that if you run routes in between coverage, you're going to create confusion and you're going to create space because of the confusion. So the routes are important. There's certain guidelines of where your route should be, but to me, it's similar, but it's never the same all the time. It depends where the defenseman, who's on me. But I feel like the way the game should be played is played. You got to use the width of the rink, and you're able to use the width of the rink because of some of the routes that you run in front of it. So if you go north, splitting the D, you create space underneath you. You can go east-west. So I think the routes are a big part. And sometimes you run a routes as a decoy. It's like football, wide receiver going deep, and then the tight end comes on a slant.
The red light went on, but it hit the crossbar, and the referee waved it off immediately. Rangers the other way. Step on around the net. He scores!
For me, it's about covering ice. If two guys can hold hands running the same routes, they're probably not going to be successful. If somebody's running a route, north-south, then I probably need to get some width into my route underneath him so I can create more space and more option for the puck carrier. And I find I like when they're young, even now, I almost teach hockey like rugby a little bit. We're going to go up as far as we can. If we don't like it, we're not dumping pucks at that age. We're going to hinge, we're going to tight turn, hit our D and reroute ourselves. We're going to possess. As you get older, it's a little harder to do that, but the best players manage to do it. And when they get to a certain age where scouts are looking at them and colleges, whatever, they're looking at the players that can possess and make plays under pressure, not guys that are just going to whack it off the glass and get it deep. There's times to chip pucks and stuff, but you want to allow your players to find something better than that. It's not as simple at a young age to explain that, you need to push, you need to be a decoy here and push people back so we can create some width in our game. But as they get older, they get the concept of just creating space for your buddy. And if they're sleeping, then they might be coming to you down the pipe and you got a breakaway. And if it's not a tape to tape, but it gets tipped a little bit, you're on top of it on the forecheck because you have a lot of momentum and speed. I hate guys being flat-footed. I like guys in motion. Even, after the D moves a puck up the ice, job's not over. We might come back to you. You got to be a part of the equation. And to me, hockey is a math equation, and the equation changes constantly. You have to process and solve the equation. And, we want to go forward, but we might have to go forward, bring it back, and go forward again before we actually, enter.
Now make it 2-on-2 as Gabranson gets into the play. The Cavalier waiting, feeding it. Killorn with no helmet. They score! St. Louis off the Alex Killorn pass makes it 2-0.
There's no set plays. Maybe on the power play, there's tendencies and where you can prepare yourself for, but in general, there's a lot of ad-libbing a little bit and just feeling it and just make sure that you're not duplicating jobs, that you're covering ice. The best player in the game are able to really understand that you have to play in between coverage. Too many people play in coverage. They turn everything into a one-on-one. Guys don't start playing until the puck hits their stick. So when you don't have the puck, where do you go? Well, to me, is you have to go in between coverage. But when you're playing in coverage, you're going to probably have to make 6, 7, 8, 9 passes. And yeah, you might have possession, but you're not generating enough opportunities and chaos and retrieval You know, when I do video, mostly it's about the guys without the puck, where they go. Also, what I focus on with the guys with the puck is speed control. Like a lot of kids that are fast, they skate really hard, really fast into a dead end. Then they get stuck. Instead of just controlling their speed based on what they read, is there people coming with them? Is there a good gap? Is there a bad gap? Because if you're gonna get around somebody, yeah, absolutely, like turn on the jets. But if they have a bad gap, like the ice is in front of them, so the faster you get to that ice in front of them, the less time you're gonna have to react. So you probably want to just push them back a little bit, cut across, and invite your second, third wave coming in with you. There's a lot of, it's all about offensive zones, about spreading the puck, right? Low to high, and like D to D, so I find some time where some players that are in space, they go low to high too quick, which is not a bad play to go low to high, especially if the guy up top is in one-timer position, he can bomb it. But what if you take one stride, open the hip, and sell what's in the high slot? Take a look at that. That should be your first look. That should be your first look. You can't go low to high in space without processing the high slot, because that's going to be open. The middle of the ice is open very short amount of time. So as you turn up into a puck in the corner, do you already feel there's somebody there? Is he a righty or lefty? Because if he's a righty and I'm turning in the right corner, that's definitely going to be my first look and quick, because that's a one-timer and that's a scoring chance. So you need to process the scoring chance before processing just a play. Going low to high to me is just a play. Is it the best play? Sometime, but the best play has to get processed before. And to me, the first look should be high slot. I asked for my players to really scout the ice from the middle out, not just out right away. Every kid see highlights, and so many highlights, and they almost think that's the way the game should be played. Hockey is not just highlights. There's a lot of layers into the game that creates a highlight, and sometimes, there's an opportunity to get a highlight goal, but I bet you something was created before that. It's about letting the play evolve a little bit. The biggest thing is especially at a young age, they don't realize that the game is played without the puck. I played 20-something minutes a game in the NHL. I probably had the puck on my stick for, a minute 20, not much, under 2 minutes for sure. So for 90% of the game, I don't have the puck. So you need to know to play without it, and then the kid that has the puck, don't start playing once you get it. Understand, because it might be on and off your stick. I don't know what it's going to be, but you got to process so much information before it touches your stick, just on breakout alone. Your D rounds in net, you're on the left wing, let's say, and if you're just looking at the D, is he passing to me? Okay, now he passed to you, and now you start playing. Guess what? It's too late. Did you measure the amount of speed or space your center had? Did you measure if the weak side D was part of it? Did you assess if you're going to get pinched? Are you rolling into it? Are you chipping it? I don't know what you're doing. But the game starts well before you actually touch it.
Good play in the neutral zone by Stepan. St. Louis fires across, Stepan shoots, he scores!
And that's how the best players are able to create so much, because they already know where they're going with it. Whether they cross over to the middle with it,
Pass in front, score!
whether it's a one-touch, whether it's a bump back.
By Holtby, lightning it back. It's just past the stick of LeCavalier. He's claiming he was hooked by Green. Pass in front, they score!
Whether it's a one-timer.
And a good job by Fedotenko. Then it's taken away by St. Louis. In front, they score!
Whether it's just to collect and protect.
True, but they might have to chip something in if they get on the power play.
St. Louis first man to the puck in the Dallas zone. He's got LeCavalier back to the net, but threw it in front. Purcell scores! He was all alone!
Guys are going for a change. I don't know. But the game starts well before you actually touch it. That's playing in the future.
Breakaway pass to St. Louis, and it is 2-0.
The good players, when it comes to pressure and playoff time, they get better.
Takeaway, St. Louis scores!
St. Louis puts the hit on. Leopold in the corner, got it out of there. Moved it up the wall. Pellemore went down. Taylor the shot. Redirected. Score! Game 7!
shot is blocked by Mason. Rebound, score! It's Marty St. Louis' 1,000th point.
At the University of Vermont, undrafted, nobody thought this would happen for Marty St. Louis.
Yeah, I mean, systems, I feel like you box players in to be in a certain spot. And sometimes you don't allow them to make reads because of it. A concept is more playing with a little more instinct, with ideas of how we want to be as a team. Now, there is structure inside concepts. You know, systems, you can say structure. In systems, you box players into only certain things they can do. And that was probably one of the things that I hated the most as a player, is play in a system where I was a great player when I was allowed to make reads, because the best players make the best reads. But if you take the reads out of the equation, those best players become average. So I want to make sure that I allow my best players to make reads. And I rather them make a bad one than not making a read at all. Listen, there's a lot more motion in the ozone in the NHL these days than it's ever been. I think it's important to have some. You know, for the longest time, the D's just stayed at the blue line. And now we're past that.
Borak, Lindstrom, in, shoot, score!
It's a little more positionless hockey, a little bit in the ozone. It's filling in some of the toughest team to play against. Defensively is when they create that kind of motion, especially if they do it with a purpose. Got to be purpose behind the movement. You can't just move to move. Everything's got to be working together. You know, like I say, like you can't just play your game. You got to play the game. So even if you're not comfortable, get uncomfortable.
And kept in. Oh, Sundqvist just buries Matheson. And a shot for the line, they score. Might have been.
You know, when you ask for that, or you ask and you allow them to try to look for that, sometimes it can hurt you. But I think you get better at it. We get better at it by finding the best play and sometimes take into account the risk and reward, the score in the game, the time on the clock. I think we're just going to keep getting better at that when it's time to find the best play and when it's time to just play a little safer. And I think we're incorporating that to our game. But I really like there's a lot of talent on this team, and it's just allowing them to use it. I think they feel they can do that. And now we just got to manage when we do that. I don't think I've proved myself to be a good coach yet. I think I feel like when I came into the league, I knew I had the ability to be a good player in this league, but it took me, you know, some time to prove people that, yeah, I could execute in this league. And I think as a coach, I feel the same way. I think I have an experience and qualities that I think I can make me a good coach, but I'm going to have to, you know, my actions, the way I succeed will speak for itself. But I believe in my own experience as a player, you know, being a call-up to a guy in the American League, a scratch in the NHL, a fourth line, third line, an all-star, penalty killer, power play guy. I feel like I've been in many situations that I think it's so valuable in terms of experience in this league. I think I understand what my bench feels like. Everybody on my roster, I think I know where they feel, you know, because I felt everything they felt. I've always been a student of the game. I absorbed a lot of that, and now it's to try to teach that. Just in general, you're constantly, you know, looking for answers, and it's not so much looking for answer because you don't like certain things. It's just like this. You're constantly looking for answers to improve, even if you're good. You know, how do you take it from here to here? You know, so I feel that's a grind that I like. I liked it as a player. And I really like it as a coach too, to how do we get better every day, you know, so not just be content and because I feel when you're content, you stop grinding, you know, so I enjoy the grind. It's easy to be the best version of yourself when everything's going well. And as you're trying to climb up the ranks in whatever walks of life, there's going to be some struggles. And who are you? What version of yourself are you when there's struggle? You know, are you still the best version of yourself, or you feel sorry for yourself? And all the time you take feeling sorry for yourself is wasting time of you know, chasing what you're after.